Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to all of you to this brand new session at Educators Plus. I am Akarshi, your English faculty at Educators Plus. So students, in the previous class, we have studied something about different authors and we have solved some previous year's question. Okay, so I have brought this new session for you all, and please mind that this is a recorded session because I'm out of station, so I'm recording these sessions for you because I don't want your preparation to have a break. Okay, so please keep watching these sessions. So as soon as I come back to the town, I will be recording the live sessions with you and will be there in the throughout the session. Okay, so please let's discuss now the previous question that I have given you as a homework in my previous session, and I will be telling you the answer and also explaining the points why that option is the correct option. Okay, so let's begin the session now. Okay, so the question that I have given you as a homework in my previous session is which of the following works is not one of Galsworthy's play? Okay, so I have told you that this is the question that was very helpful for your examination point of view because it is a very important question and in the previous years as well. So the correct answer to this question is the Silver Spoon. Okay, the answer is the Silver Spoon. So basically the English novelist and playwright John Galsworthy was one of the most popular writers of the 20th century. Okay, so he is the famous writer of 20th century. Okay, 20th century. He is the most famous writer of 20th century and his works explores the transitions and contrast between pre and post World War One. ठीक है, pre and post World War One England. Okay, so basically transition कैसा हुआ, कैसे things थी, कैसे situations थी, and now it was the situation transcendented. Okay, from the pre to the post World War One. That was something motto or something the theme of the Galsworthy writings. ठीक है. Also after World War One, Galsworthy produced a cycle of novels about the Forsyte family in post-war England. So we have studied about the Forsyte saga, and he has, after the World War One, he has produced this series of Forsyte family, which was depicted in the post-war England. Fine. Also, I told you his work, the modern comedy. ठीक है, इसका एक word था modern comedy that I have discussed with you in my previous lecture, and this modern comedy is also called a sequel to the Forsyte saga, and it is a collection of 3 novels. Now, if you have watched my previous lecture, you must be knowing that what are these 3 novels. So the 3 novels are The White Monkey, okay, White Monkey, fine. It was White Monkey. What was the next novel? The next novel was The Silver Spoon. Silver Spoon, and the third one was Swan Song. Okay, Swan Song was the third novel. So please remember these novels. They can be asked in your exam that the modern comedy comprises of which of the following novels. So you should remember the name of these novels. Okay, so basically let's talk about the other plays. The Silver Box is also a play written by John Galsworthy and has a legal theme. It has a legal theme which depicts a bitter contrast of the law's treatment of the rich and the poor. Okay, so it will basically have a legal theme and it depicts the contrast between the rich and the poor people of England. Okay, and next is Strife. Not if you have read about the strife, so you will be knowing that it is a study of the industrial relations. Okay, it is a study of industrial relations. ठीक है, ये एक इंडस्ट्रियल रिलेशंस को डिपिक्ट करता है. सो स्ट्राइफ इज अ स्टडी ऑफ इंडस्ट्रियल रिलेशंस. एंड लेट्स टॉक अबाउट जस्टिस. मैंने आपको जस्टिस के बार चीजें बताई है. सो यू मस्ट बी नोइंग दैट इट इज अ रियलिस्टिक पोर्ट्रेयल ऑफ द प्रिजन लाइफ that roused so much feeling that it led to reform. ठीक है, तो बेसिकली जेल सिस्टम इन ब्रिटेन और प्रिजन लाइफ को ये डिपिक्ट करता है. ठीक है, डिपिक्ट्स दी prison life. Okay, so this was all about the plays of Galsworthy. I hope you will remember this, and next time if any question come on Galsworthy, so you will be very much acquainted with all these plays of Galsworthy. Okay, so let's move ahead now with the session. Okay, so you have to answer me that for whom did William Wordsworth speak in his famous line, thy soul was like a star and dwelt apart. ठीक है, ये विलियम वर्ड्सवर्थ ने किसके लिए कहा था? Is it been said for William Shakespeare or John Galsworthy, Milton और Spencer? किसके लिए शेक्सपियर ने ये लाइन बोली थी? ठीक है, for whom does Shakespeare has said this following line? Yes, very good. It has been said for John Milton. ठीक है, this is a very quotation from the poem London. Okay, ये जो quotation है, it is from the poem London. London by Wordsworth. Okay, it is a poem by Wordsworth, London. तो इस पोएम में, इस पोम में वर्ड्सवर्थ ने बोला था ये फॉलोइंग लाइन, thy soul was like a star and dwelt apart, and he said it for Milton. ठीक है, so basically Wordsworth was very optimistic. Okay, so and England has strengthened morally and comparison to the Milton's period. So it was very optimistic in his opinion that now England, the England of romantic period, has strengthened morally. Now moral values are good in people as compared to Milton's period. ठीक है, so he was actually taking pride in today's England, in romantic age of England. So therefore he appeals to Milton to actually to rise up and save England. So he appeals to Milton that please rise up and please save England. ठीक है, so this was a kind of appeal. It was a kind of appeal. Fine. Okay, so I hope I have made myself clear with these points. Also remember that the poem has two main purposes. Now this London poem, which was written by Wordsworth, has two main purposes. The first purpose was to pay homage to Milton by saying that he can save the entire England by entirety, or you can say the entire England, with his nobility and virtue. ठीक है, so he considered Milton to be very a noble character full of virtues. So he said that to Milton that please save England with your nobility and with your virtues. ठीक है, so this was all about the London poem. Also basically it is written in, it is this poem London. This poem London is a Petrarchan sonnet. It is a Petrarchan sonnet which was written by Milton. Again, I request you all to please remember these things, that it is a Petrarchan sonnet by Wordsworth. ठीक है, apart from paying homage to Milton, Wordsworth also uses the poem to draw attention to the problems with English society. ठीक है, so ये poem, first of all there were two purposes I told you. One is to pay homage to Milton, and second was to draw attention towards the problems of the English society. Okay, so this was all about the poem London. Fine, let's move ahead. Okay, now you have to answer me that who claims in his sonnet that under this carved marble of thine own sleep brave tragedian, Shakespeare sleep alone. ठीक है, ये जो कोट है, ठीक है, under this carved marble of thine own sleep brave tragedian, Shakespeare sleep alone. ठीक है, ये किसने क्लेम करा था in his sonnet? Is it Ben Jonson, Michael Drayton, John Dryden और William Bass? किसने ये चीज क्लेम करी थी in his sonnet? Okay, you have to tell me. Okay, I'll just give you a few seconds to answer this question. Okay, this is a tricky question, and if you just answer it, then your preparation is going really very well. Yes, it is William Bass. So William Bass is the person who has said this quote in his sonnet. Okay, so basically this sonnet was originally published by John Donne, but later what happened, scholarship has recognized that it was originally a sonnet by William Bass. It was originally a sonnet by William Bass. Also Ben Jonson alluded to a lot of Shakespearean works and also praised Shakespeare in his poem. If you just look at the work of Ben Jonson, so he have dedicated a very special poem to William Shakespeare. Now it's your homework to find out which is that poem. ठीक है? Okay, am I making myself clear? Now let's talk about Michael Drayton. Now let's talk about Michael Drayton. So if you have studied about Michael Drayton, Ben Jonson, so you must be knowing that they were also Shakespeare's contemporaries. ठीक है, Michael Drayton and Ben Jonson, both of them were Shakespeare contemporaries who also paid tribute to Shakespeare in numerous writings. So you can just measure the greatness of Shakespeare. Even his contemporaries were less of praises for Shakespeare, and they also praised Shakespeare in their work. Also remember that John Dryden, ठीक है, तो जो Dryden था, he was also full of praise for Shakespeare. Okay, for around so basically he also mentioned Shakespeare in his work, and he was full of praise for Shakespeare. Fine, let's move ahead now. Okay, now you have to tell me that vers libre. Vers libre is what? It is colophon, it is closed form, it is rhymed form, or is it open form? So you have to tell me that vers libre is what out of these four options. Okay, you must be knowing that. You must have come across this term a lot of times when you are studying the history of literature or any literary work. Okay, so basically vers libre is colophon, closed form, rhymed form, or open form. Out of these four options, which is the correct one? Yes, it is an open form. So vers libre is an open form of poetry that basically abandons consistent meter patterns. It actually abandons consistent meter patterns, rhyme, or other form of musical pattern. So basically it abandons all. Okay, it abandons the meter pattern, rhyme pattern, or musical pattern. So basically it has tend to follow the rhyme of natural speech. So that's why it is known as open form, because it denotes to the natural speech. It denotes to natural speech. That's why it is known as open form. Fine. Also, vers libre is a French word meaning free verse or open form. This open form is also known as free verse. Just a second. Free वर्ड्स, ठीक है, इसको फ्री वर्ड्स ही बोलते हैं, इसको ओपन फॉर्म ही बोलते हैं. दिस वर्ड्स लिब्रे इज अ फ्रेंच वर्ड. In English, it means an open form or a free word. So basically, if you know who is known as the father of free words, if you know that, please just answer in your mind that who is known as the father of free words. Yes, it is Walt Whitman. Okay, so Walt Whitman is known as the father of free words. So Walt Whitman is an American writer. Okay, he is an American writer who is also called as the father of free verse or vers libre in English poetry. Okay, so basically he has some example of his poem is that one of the Whitman poem. Whitman has written a noiseless patient spider. Okay, a noiseless patient spider, which is also a work of Milton, and it is written in free verse. Emily Dickinson is also known for writing in free verse. One of his poetry is Come Slowly Eden. That is also a poetry by Emily Dickinson, which is written in free verse. Okay, and Ezra Pound is also a writer who used to write in free verse, and one of the example of his poetry is The Garden. Okay, The Garden by Ezra Pound is also an example of the free verse in literature. Fine, let's move ahead now. Okay, now tell me that Paradise Lost comprises dash books. So कितनी books थी Paradise Lost में? If you have watched my previous lecture, in my extra information, in my additional information, I have explained you that Paradise Lost में कितनी books थी. ठीक है? अगर this will test your attentivity. आपका attention test करेगा कि कितने आप attentive थे that in my previous lecture. Okay. So basically it is having 12 books. ठीक है, Paradise Lost is a basically epic poem in blank verse. मैं आपको बार बार बता चुकी हूँ that it is an epic poem in blank verse. Blank verse में लिखी गई थी and ये epic poem थी. ठीक है, and it is one of the most important work of the English playwright, that is John Milton. ठीक है, originally it was issued in 10 books. ये बेसिकली 10 बुक्स में ओरिजिनली इंट्रोड्यूस हुई थी. ठीक है, ओरिजिनली कितने बुक्स में इंट्रोड्यूस थी? इट वाज इंट्रोड्यूस इनटू 10 बुक्स इन 1667. इन 1667 में ये 10 बुक में इंट्रोड्यूस हुई थी. लेटर ऑन बुक 7th एंड बुक 10th 7th एंड 10th बुक को स्प्लिट करा था in 1674 and it changed to 12 books. Fine, it changed to 12 books. In 1674 में 7th और 10th book को split करा था and later on it became into 12 books in 1674. Fine, okay, so let's move ahead now. Okay, the next question is that when was John Galsworthy awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature? किस ईयर में जॉन गैल्सवर्दी को नोबेल प्राइज मिला था? आपको बताना है इनमें से कौन से ईयर में उसको नोबेल प्राइज मिला था. इज इट 1927, 1929, 1932 या फिर 1935? ओके, सो प्लीज टेल मी, keep writing because is it a recorded class, so please writing your answers in your notebook or whatever thing you have in front of you because that will test your preparation कि आप कितना prepared हो, कितने मेरे lectures follow कर रहे हो और आप किस level पे हो अभी and how much you have to back up. ठीक है, so please keep writing the answers in your notebook and I want the right answer for this question is 1932. ठीक है, so the Nobel Prize in Literature 1932 was awarded to John Galsworthy. John Galsworthy को 1932 में नोबेल प्राइज मिला था. ठीक है, and this was awarded for the distinguished art of narration which takes its highest form in Forsyte Saga. उसने इतना distinguished narration दिया था, इतना well versed था उसका जो वर्क था the Forsyte Saga, that for that he was awarded the Nobel Prize. Forsyte Saga, he was awarded the Nobel Prize. Now let me tell you something again about Forsyte Saga. I have told you innumerable times about Forsyte Saga. Let me tell you again. So basically the Forsyte Saga is a sequence of 3 novels and 2 interludes by John Galsworthy. So basically the Forsyte Saga है, इसमें combination of 3 novels है plus 2 interludes है. 2 interludes है. ठीक है, 3 novels and 2 interludes का combination है the Forsyte Saga. And basically the saga chronicles the life of 3 generation. Okay, ये 3 generation की life chronicle करती है of a middle class English family at the turn of the century. So ये किसको depict करती है? Life of middle class English family. Okay, it chronicles the life of middle class English family in the Forsyte Saga. Okay, so I hope this you will remember these points again because it's just a repetition. I have told you many times in my previous lectures about John Galsworthy. तो John Galsworthy तो आपके टिप्स पे हो जाना चाहिए अब कि मैं कोई भी क्वेश्चन John Galsworthy का पूछूं आप फटाफट आंसर दे दो. ठीक है, so next question comes in the front of you. It is, will no one tell me what the signs, perhaps the plaintive number flow for old unhappy far off things and battles long ago? The above long ago, basically it belongs to which of the following work? These lines belong to which of the following work? Does it belong to Solitary Reaper, 3 Years She Grew, Michael or Evening Walk? These are all works of Wordsworth. याद रखना ये सारे वर्क्स किसके हैं? वर्ड्सवर्थ के हैं. Okay, these are all the works of Wordsworth. Okay, please answer in your notebooks. Fine, these are all the works of Wordsworth. You have to tell me in which of the work of Wordsworth this line appears. Okay, so basically yes, the right answer is Solitary Reaper. So the given lines are taken from the poem The Solitary Reaper by William Wordsworth. Now let me tell you something about Solitary Reaper. So basically the poet in Solitary Reaper expresses his disappointment and why he was disappointed, because he was disappointed at not comprehending the girl's language in the given lines. Okay, so he was not understand to what the girl is singing. The girl is singing some song and he was weeping as well, and he was not able to comprehend the girl's language. So he was very disappointed at himself. Okay, so basically the Reaper sang in a very native Scottish dialect. So वो Scottish language में गा रही थी, but Wordsworth was an English person and he doesn't understand the Scottish dialect in which the girl is singing. For that he was awarded the Nobel Prize. ठीक है, ये चीज आप याद रखना कि so the poet could not understand and consequently he tries to speculate on what the song could mean. So this song was going on loop in his mind, and I was disappointed that in spite of the fact that this song is in his mind on loop, he is not able to comprehend the meaning of the girl's song. Okay, also in the poem the narrator attempts the short, okay, and he basically in the poem he falls short or describing the song he overheard a young girl singing. Okay, so while he was harvesting grain in a Scottish meadow, so the girl was actually harvesting and singing a song, and the poet was disappointed because he was not able to comprehend or understand the language of the girl's song. Okay, also this poem emphasizes on music. Okay, basically this poem emphasizes on music. The narrator implies the poetry force is found mainly in a rhythm rather than in content. So content से मतलब नहीं होना चाहिए. You should only be understanding the emotions related to that particular work or words, or the rhythm in which the particular work or the song has been sung. So हमें content से मतलब नहीं होना चाहिए. हमें समझना चाहिए कि if we are enjoying something, okay, sometimes you jazz music आप सुनते हो, आप Spanish song सुनते हो, आपको समझ में नहीं आता, you don't understand the lyrics of that particular song, what is the song all about, because you don't know Spanish, but you enjoy the rhythm, you enjoy the music, that all that matters. Okay, this was something, a message given by Wordsworth in the poem The Solitary Reaper. Fine. Now let's talk about some other works of Wordsworth. Let's talk about 3 Years She Grew. Now 3 Years She Grew in Sun and Shower is by William Wordsworth, and the author in this poem, and the author was basically uses Lucy. So okay, he uses Lucy. And who was Lucy? So Lucy was a persona who stands for her daughter Caroline. Okay, so Lucy is a persona of Caroline. It is a persona of Caroline who is his daughter. So Lucy is the persona of Caroline, and Caroline is the daughter of Wordsworth. So that's why the poem, The 3 Years She Grew in Sun and Shower, basically this is the poem by Wordsworth. Okay, now let's talk about Michael. Now if you heard about the work Michael, so you must be knowing that it is the classical piece of pastoral poetry. Now you know that Wordsworth was very inspired by nature, and he is famous for writing pastoral poetries. Okay, and this poem depicts the shepherds and the rural way of life. So ये सारा pastoral है. तो जब pastoral word आता है तो ultimately shepherds आ जाते हैं. Shepherds आ जाएगा, rustic life आ जाएगा, rural life आ जाएगा. So all these things are included or showcased in the work Michael by Wordsworth. ठीक है? And also in the poem Michael is a shepherd. Okay, he is a shepherd, and the whole work is about his life as a farmer and the experiences he had as a shepherd. So all his experiences have been showcased in the work Michael. Fine. Now let's talk about an evening walk. So this evening walk again is a work by Shakespeare. It is basically a sonnet by Shakespeare, and Wordsworth write about this in approximately taking his 9-year-old daughter into his mind. Okay, so he ने 9 year की अपनी जो daughter थी Caroline, he took her for a stroll in the evening, and speculates that his young child, or who was a young child, Caroline, his daughter, and he seems to see that the grandeur of landscape became as a child. Okay, so basically he was unconcerned about the grandeur of landscape because as a child she is already basically tuned with it. So he was not very much surprised by looking at the natural beauty. The daughter Caroline, and she was not so much astonished or so much surprised, and Wordsworth gave an explanation for that because she was already tuned to it, because she is a daughter of nature. So why, when something is very acclimatized to your particular senses, so why should you be surprised or astonished? So that was all about the evening walk. Just please remember these points. Okay, now the next question is, who is known as the melancholy man in As You Like It? ठीक है, कौन था melancholy man in As You Like It? Is it Touchstone? Is it Sylvius? Is it Jack? Or is it Corin? So just tell me just write down in your notebook who is the melancholy man in As You Like It. So As You Like It is a play by Shakespeare. It's a play by Shakespeare. Okay, yes, it is Jack. Okay, so basically it is one of the finest comedies which is written by Shakespeare. So basically just remember that As You Like It is a comedy. It is not a tragedy, it is a comedy by Shakespeare. Okay, and basically a romantic comedy is a play in which a romantic elements are mingled with comic elements. So it is basically a romantic comedy. So romantic elements को mingle करा गया है comic elements से, so that's why it is As You Like It is a romantic comedy. It is a romantic comedy. Fine. Also, with the romantic elements give delight to the senses. So when the romantic elements have been included in a play, it gives delight to the senses. It provides you with thrill and enchantment as the comic elements make us laugh. Basically, we are also romanticizing things and also making things humorous for a comic effect in the play. Okay? Okay. So now, sorry. Let's talk about that why this is a romantic comedy. We have already talked about, and basically this romantic comedy is a marvelous kind of play that appeals greatly to your ears and senses. So आप उसको देखोगे आपके senses में, आपके emotions में, आपके imaginations में, it founds a great appeal. Fine. Let's talk about the character Jack. Sorry. Okay. So basically, Jack is known as the melancholy man in As You Like It. So Jack is known as the melancholy man. So who was referred as a melancholy man? Jack. Okay, this you know that. So why he was referred as a melancholy man? Because he is always harping on the dark aspects of life. So basically dark aspect क्या होता है? The truth, the reality of life. He always utters the truth of life, that is something dark for a human being. ठीक है? So he is basically harping on the dark aspects of life. That's why he is known as the melancholy man. So now you know the reason why he has been called as the melancholy man in this play. Okay? So now the famous line of Shakespeare, all the world is a stage and all the men and women are merely players. This actually line sums up his philosophy of life. So Jack की philosophy क्या थी? That all the world is a stage and all men and women are merely players. That was the philosophy of Jack in this play. Fine. Also Jack is very much has been given very contemplative nature. He's of very contemplative nature, that he chooses to stay in the jungle to give company to Duke Frederick. Okay, he has given the company to Duke Frederick. Who was Duke Frederick? So if you just have read about As You Like It, you must be knowing that Duke Frederick was exiled in the jungle, and he actually has given company to Duke Frederick in the jungle. Fine. Okay, so this was all about Jack. Let's talk about some other characters. Touchstone. So if you have read the play As You Like It, you must be knowing that Touchstone was a court jester. So he was a court jester. ठीक है, Touchstone था एक court jester था at the court of Duke Frederick court. So he was a jester in Duke Frederick court. And how he has felt, because he feels himself specially close to Rosalind, okay, the exiled Duke's daughter. So Rosalind was the exiled Duke's daughter and he felt very close to her, okay, and therefore he readily agrees in accompany Rosalind and Celia when they actually plan to run away from the conspiring court to the jungle. So this was Touchstone who actually accompanied Celia and Rosalind to jungle because he has a fondness towards Rosalind. He used to connect well with Rosalind. Okay. Now, also that Touchstone is basically provides a fresh perspective by calling a spade a spade. He was a very sensible character who says things as it is. He calls a spade a spade. ठीक है, वो कुछ बड़ा चढ़ा के बात नहीं करता था. He never used to beat around the bush. He used to say things directly and as it is in the raw form. Fine. And also in the company of Audrey, who was a plain country girl, he presents as he presents as whom? He presents as an unromantic and unglamorized version of love. So he was not very romantic person, though it was a romantic comedy, because that's why it is a romantic comedy, because उसको unglamorized और unromantic जो उसका version था of love का, that used to create some comedy in the play. Fine. Now let's talk about Sylvius. Now, if you know about Sylvius, so you should be knowing that he is a shepherd in the play who was simple and sincere. So he was a shepherd, okay, who was very simple and sincere, and he has a very noble heart. He was a very noble-hearted person, and he was very devoted, okay. And also he is in love with Phoebe. He was in love with Phoebe. Okay, he was in love with Phoebe, and because he was so noble-hearted, so devoted, that he was loving a girl, rustic girl, and Phoebe was a rustic girl. He was in love with that, and she scorns what she used to scorn. She scorns his love and treat him as a merry toy. So she wasn't not in love with Sylvius, and she used to scorn his ways of showing love, and she used to treat him as a toy. Fine. Now let's talk about Corin. So if you have read about the play As You Like It, you must be knowing that Corin is another character from the rustic world of the Forest of Arden. Okay, the Forest of Arden mein David Duke Frederick was exiled. So there was another character, Corin. And who was Corin? He was an old and has worked hard under a cruel and demanding master. Okay, he was very old and he has worked under a demanding master. He used to treat him badly. Okay, and what was the role which was played by Corin in that play? He helped Rosalind and Celia by helping them buy shelter and food in the jungle. So Celia and Rosalind ran away into the jungle, and they doesn't know from where they will be fetching shelter and food. So this Corin helped them to fetch shelter and food in the jungle. Okay, so let's move to the next question. Okay, so now you have to tell me what figure of speech has been used in the following rhyme. Rascals and rogues ran a race round and round the rugged rock. So आपको बताना है out of this four device, which device has been used in this particular line. Yes, in the chat, sorry, not in the chat box, in your notebook. Okay, so please tell me. Yes, the correct answer is alliteration. Okay, so now tell me, now you must be knowing something about alliteration. So let me tell you again about something about alliteration. So basically alliteration is a figure of speech which shows occurrence of same consonant sound in a sentence. ठीक है, तो आप देख रहे होगे rascals, rogues ran a race round and round rugged rock. So R sound has been repeated again and again. The consonant R sound has been repeated again and again. So this forms an example of alliteration. ठीक है, it forms example of what? It forms example of alliteration. Now the why alliteration is used in literary works. Basically alliteration is used in literary works to create a musical effect. Okay, so ये क्यों use करते हैं? To create musical effect. Okay, it is used in works to create musical effect. Also it enhances the pleasure of reading a literary book. अगर आप ये line पढ़ो, rascals and rogues ran a race round and round the rugged rock. So it is creating a musical effect. It is also enhancing the pleasure of reading a literary work. Fine. So that's why alliteration has been used in literary works. So I have told you already about hyperbole in my previous class. What is hyperbole? What is onomatopoeia? I have told you hyperbole. Let me tell you about onomatopoeia, because onomatopoeia was not being discussed in my previous lecture. So basically onomatopoeia is a figure of speech in which words are used to tell the actual sound of the things to refer to decide. So जैसे आपके जो sound आते हैं his, third, clash. तो ये सारे sounds जो होते हैं, these are all onomatopoeia which actually denote sound of some things. ठीक है? So sound or sound words are known as onomatopoeia. Fine. Okay, now apostrophe. What is apostrophe? Basically apostrophe is a figure of speech which is used when a speaker breaks off from addressing the audience and directly speech to a third party such as नेचर एक्सेट्रा. सो हम डायरेक्टली किसी को एड्रेस नहीं करते हैं, हम थर्ड पार्टी को डायरेक्टली एड्रेस करते हैं, एंड दैट इज द डिवाइस यूज्ड एज apostrophe. Okay, let's move ahead. Now you tell me Paradise Lost is written in. So in which form Paradise Lost has been written? Okay, this is a very important question and easy one as well, because I have told you innumerable times कि Paradise Lost is an epic poem written in dash. ठीक है, आपको dash fill करना है if you have followed my lectures well. So it is in free verse, is it in blank verse, is it in rhymed verse, or none of them? ठीक है. Okay, you must have noted down in your notebooks till now. So let me tell you the correct answer to this question. It is in blank verse. Okay, so I have told you innumerable times that it is an epic poem in blank verse by the 17th century English poet John Milton. किसने लिखा है वर्क? ये वर्क लिखा है जॉन मिल्टन ने. Fine. It is an epic poem by John Milton and it is written in blank verse. ठीक है. So basically an epic poem is a lengthy narrative work of poetry. So these long poems typically an extraordinary what it does, it feeds and basically it adventures of characters from a distant past. ठीक है, because it features or it feeds adventures of characters from a distant past. And also remember this is a point, a very important point, that blank words, ठीक है, जो blank words होती है, it is a literary device which is defined as an unrhyming verse written in iambic pentameter. ठीक है, इसको ये भी बोलते हैं unrhyming verse in iambic pentameter. ठीक है, it is also known as the unrhyming word in iambic pentameter. So please remember this point. If this name comes that Paradise Lost written in the option is unrhyming words in iambic pentameter, that means it is written in blank words. So you should know the alternate name with of it as well, because in the exams to make the paper tough they can give you this option as well. Fine, so you should remember this. Okay, let's move ahead. Okay, now this is your bonus question. Okay, this is a bonus question, means this is a homework question. You have to tell me that John Galsworthy ideas on drama are found in. ठीक है, तो जॉन गैल्सवर्दी के आइडियाज थे ड्रामा में, वो किस में पाए गए थे? इज इट फाउंड इन द इनर ट्रैंक्विलिटी और द पैट्रिशियन और द मेड इन वेटिंग और द इंडियन समर of a foresight. Okay, this is a bonus question for you all and you have to tell me in which of the following ideas on drama found in out of these following things. ठीक है, ये मैं नेक्स्ट अपनी क्लास पे डिस्कस करूंगी इनका आंसर. टिल देन रिसर्च अबाउट जॉन गैल्सवर्दी एंड प्लीज राइट डाउन द आंसर टू दिस notebook and just tell me in the next class, just see whether you have got it right in the next class, because this is a very important author, John Galsworthy, who is a novelist and a playwright. So it is very important you should be very thorough with this particular writer. Okay, so that's all for today's class. I hope you enjoyed the class and have got most of the answers correct and have learned the new concepts as well. Okay, so I bid farewell to you all. Till then, bye bye, take care.